Can spirit cause addiction? Can addiction be caused by spirits? So many counselors and therapists do hold counseling section for people who are addicted to certain things. These therapists and counselors mostly ignore the spiritual cause of addiction. These counselors and therapists do believe that addiction can only be caused by something physical and not anything spiritual. But I would rather take another school of thought and believe in that school of thought, which says that addiction can also be caused by spirit. My argument is that everything created, including human beings, were first created in the spirit as a matter of truth and not just fact. The spirit is what dictates what happens in the physical. If you do not believe in this school of thought or theory, let me prove it to you. We are all humans and we do have dreams. There are many things we saw in dreams which were not implemented physically as and when or before we had the dream. But those things which we saw in dreams happened after we have dreamt of them. Our bodies traveled into the spiritual world and experienced it before time. How can a body travel into the spiritual world and the thing which has not taken place in the physical world is being seen happening in the spiritual world? Then afterward, that which was seen happening in the spiritual world finally happens in the physical world. How does this occur? It occurs because the timing in the spiritual world is not on the same timeline with the timing in the physical world. In the spiritual world, things move faster than it is in the physical world. When we travel into the spiritual world in a form of dreams or any other form, because there are many other forms. So when we travel, which every layman has the power to do that or do experience that kind of journey, traveling in dreams, where we see ourselves in another world, which we call the spiritual world. Even though we have left the body, which the physical body I am referring to, behind, yet in the dream, we still find ourselves in the physical body, in as much as we have left it in the bed or wherever we slept. We have left the physical body there and we have traveled into another world called the spiritual world. Nevertheless, we still find ourselves in the physical body in the spiritual world. In as much as we are dreaming and we find ourselves in the spiritual world, it does not dispute the fact that what we see in the spiritual world is the physical body we left when we were traveling into the spiritual world. It does not dispute that fact. That means that whatever can be done on the physical body in the physical world stands a chance of it being done to the physical body or on the physical body in the spiritual world. For instance, when we see ourselves in the spiritual world, we do also see other bodies in the spiritual world. In the physical world, we see people around us. Also, in the spiritual world, we do see people around us. And not only people, all other things that we see in the physical world, we also do see them in the spiritual world. So just as we are seeing all these things physically, we also see them spiritually. And that is why we are saying that whatever can be done to the physical body in the physical world stands a chance of it being done to the physical body in the spiritual world. So if someone can influence you to take alcohol, which you were not once ago used to taking, If someone can introduce you to a certain drug which you used not to take, then in the spiritual world, we can also have people who can also introduce us, or spirit bodies who can introduce us to certain things that we are not used to in the physical world. That is why I'm saying that the possibility of an addiction being caused by a spirit body is also there. And therefore, when we are holding counseling section, when we are holding therapeutic sections for people who are addicted to one thing or the other, we cannot do away with the fact that addiction can also be caused by spirit. We have had many people who have been to the hospital and the doctors did everything possible, diagnosing them, trying to find the exact cause of their problem. Yet the doctors could not figure out. And so the doctors advise to these patients or these victims what? Go and see a spiritualist if you have one. And that means the cause of the problem is not physical, but the cause of the problem is spiritual. These spiritualists are able to identify the exact cause of the problem, and they are able to heal the person from the spiritual world. So, if these things are facts and these things are truth, and we have people who can come out with evidence, then also we can conclude that whatever a person suffers could either be something physical or it could be something spiritual. That is why I make the statement that before we do away with the possibility of an addiction being caused by a spirit body, we should first of all consider that spirits are capable. Spirits are also able to make people get addicted to certain things. We have so many drunkards who did not become drunkards because they chose to, but because they were made spiritually to fall in love with alcohol and to become drunkards. Among the number of people we have living on the world, on the planet Earth today, only about 20% are spiritually inclined, and therefore they are able to dictate what happens to them in the physical world. But about 80% of the people living on the planet Earth needs spiritual support from these spiritualists to guide them, to protect them, to shield them, so that not just anything can penetrate into their lives. So, among these 80% of people living on earth who are not spiritually inclined, when they are dreaming and they find themselves in the spiritual world and someone is injecting them with alcohol or giving them a glass of wine or a glass of alcohol so that they drink to become drunkards. If we do have these people dreaming and experiencing these things, then we can conclude and say that that person becomes a drunkard, not necessarily because he wanted to become a drunkard, but the person became a drunkard as a result of being given the drink or the wine or the alcohol in the spiritual world to make him a drunkard, because he doesn't have that strength to fight those who were giving the drink to him. The 80% of the people living on earth I made mention of don't have that strength to fight those who inflict them with things that they end up becoming addicted to. Just as a child who is vulnerable, or a person who is under the control of his masters, for instance, a slave, is made to like smoking, whether the person like it or not. The person will be forced to smoke. The person is made, forced, coerced, placed under coercion to like smoking. And as a result, it gets to a time the body becomes addicted to smoking, because the pleasure that comes with it when the person is on high after smoking certain chemicals into the body, or after inhaling certain chemicals into the body, the joy, the pleasure that comes with it make the person now become addicted to those things, even though from the initial point he wasn't ready and he never thought of going to get himself into that mess. The same way in the spiritual body, because we don't have that much authority and we have people who can bully us and make us love things without we being able to fight back, we are forced in the spiritual world to like the things that we are being given, even though we don't like it, we don't have the mindset of doing it, yet because you have been made forced to do it, we end up manifesting it in the spirit, in the physical world, even though it took place in the spiritual world. Just as the person is given the disease is transferred to the person in the spiritual world, and it ends up manifesting in the physical body in the physical world. The same way a glass of alcohol is given to someone in the spiritual world to make the person get addicted to alcohol and become a drunkard, even though it happened in the spiritual world, it is now manifesting in the physical world. So the possibility of we getting addicted because we are spiritually weak is very high, and it is there. Let's not dispute the fact. When we are spiritually weak, the possibility of we being infested or we being forced to accept, to like, to take in, to apply certain things spiritually is very high. But then, if we are spiritually strong, when those things are being transferred to us, we are able to resist, we are able to fight back, we are able to stand in opposition of it. So, there is a possibility that spirit can cause addiction. Let us not neglect that fact. Be reminded that you need to subscribe. Be reminded that you need to share this video so that everybody can have the opportunity to watch. And by so doing, you will help others to become a better people.